students, this video lecture deals with application of stem cells in the regeneration of epidermis. Okay, I think this is session 6 of the stem cell chapter, deals with application of stem cells in the regeneration of epidermis. So first we'll understand what is epidermis. Epidermis, the upper or outer layer of two main layers of the cells that make up our skin, it is called epidermis. The epidermis is mostly made up of flat scale-like cells called squamous cells. The other main layer of the skin is the dermis, and the inner layer of the skin that contains the blood and lymph vessels, hair follicles and glands. See here you can see the three regions, that is epidermis, dermis region and hypodermis. This is the anatomy of our skin. So skin has its ability of cell renewal. The ability of the skin to heal even after considerable damage has occurred due to the presence of stem cells in the dermis region and the cells in the stratum basal of epidermis. Epidermis is the basal region of epidermis and this is the dermis region. These active cells produce a collagenous fibrous and ground substance which is responsible for the intactness of the skin. The skin is formed by three main layers, that is epidermis, dermis and hypodermis, with its appendages where you have like hair glands, sweat glands and sebaceous glands and sensory neurons along with the blood and lymph vessels. This is the layer of the skin. The skin plays a very important role which cannot be overestimated. Its functioning ensures homeostasis that protects us from aggressive and causative agents in the environment. So it has a role in our skin has a role in protection, heat regulation, secretion, excretion, sensation and absorption. So it is constantly involved in numerous processes, that is water balance, that is nothing but homeostasis, temperature regulation, signal perception, hormone, neuropeptide and cytokinin production and activation, etc. The entire skin tissue contains various cells: epidermal, stromal, endothelial, neuronal cells and extracellular matrix. The cells, growth factors and matrix are the basic elements for the use in the skin regeneration and replacement after injury. That means the cells, growth factors and matrix. So these are the main three important factors which has a role in skin regeneration and replacement. So epidermis, that means outermost layer of the skin. It is thin and stratified with it consists of a cell population such as keratocytes, Merkel cells, melanocytes and Langerhans cells. Keratinocytes are the major cell component of epidermis and responsible for its stratified structure. So they form a numerous and tight intracellular junctions. Melanocytes, which synthesizes the melanin, which is responsible for the color of the skin and the pigment absorbing UV radiation and protecting from its negative effects. So are located in the basal layer, that is stratum basal, and form a dendritis that can reach the spinous layer, that is stratum spinosum. So this is the enlarged view of the skin cell. Okay, the first it is the dead keratinocyte layer, lamella, the granular cells, Langerhans cells, keratocytes, melanin, melanocyte where it produces the pigment called melanin, the Merkel cell and this is the basal lamina. This is an enlarged view of epidermis, that is stratum corneum, granular cell layer, spinous layer and basal layer. So this is the region which is affected when we are exposed to it may be the burns or the acid attack like this. The skin, if you look at the enlarged view of the skin cells, the upper skin cells, as I told you, they are scaly in nature. So it is an enlarged view of skin cell where it appears like a scale, that is scaly cells. Skin has its own stem cells which are rather heterogeneous and can be divided into various subtypes: epidermal, follicular, hematopoietic, melanocyte and sebaceous gland. The stem cell mesenchymal, stem-like and neuronal progenitor cells. So these are the skin stem cells which has a role in regeneration. This is the picture of human skin cells with high resolution. See here, you can see it like a scaly appearance. So how this the skin tissue regeneration process takes place? The skin wound healing, that is the wound healing, is a systematic process traditionally including a 4 overlapping classic phases: homeostasis, inflammation, that is, and proliferation. Okay, and in the proliferation you can see epithelialization, fibroblastia, angiogenesis, and formation of granulation tissue. And maturation, where the collagen deposit and scarring tissue formation takes place. Several factors they influence the skin healing after burn injuries and acid attack. Example, the causes of the degree and the size of the burn, and the patient's general condition and types of graft and materials for covering the burn wounds influence the skin regeneration. This is the normal skin, this is the injured skin, where for tissue that is regeneration, the scaffold can be made from this collagen, hyaluronic acid, fibrin, acellular matrix, synthetic biodegradable matrix, polymers. They are formed as a cell-seeded scaffold, and these can be used for the treatment of injured skin. The cell-seeded scaffold may regenerate the normal skin. So what are the types of cell types used in the skin regeneration? The cells are the main component of the tissue engineered skin used for burn therapies. They include both stem cells and somatic cells and can be divided into 3 main groups, that is autologous, allogenic, and xenogenic. Autologous means they are from the self. If the cells are taken from the same patient itself, it is called autologous. Okay, that is syngenic, identical twin; allogenic, another human except the identical twin; and xenogenic, one species to another. The use of autologous cells is a common because they do not cause the immune rejection, and their tumorigenicity is low due to the absence of epigenetic manipulation. So this is the picture I have shown you how this skin transplantation is done in the affected region. So how we can apply the stem cells for regeneration of epidermis? Okay, the first approach, it is by fibroblast and use of keratinocytes. So these are the cells can be used for the treatment of the regeneration of epidermis. So these cells, fibroblast and keratinocytes, are common cells used to produce for used in products of wound and burn healing. Keratinocytes are the major cell component of the epidermis and responsible for its stratified structure and form a numerous tight intracellular junction. So these fibroblasts are the main cell types of dermis and produce extracellular matrix components and secrete various growth factor. So TGF, it is transforming growth factor B, and cytokinins, that is tumor necrosis factor alpha, and matrix metalloproteinases. So these fibroblast and keratocytes, they which ensure that extracellular matrix formation and keratinocyte proliferation and differentiation can lead to the formation of regeneration of epidermis. And the commercial products which are used include Epicel, Cryoskin, and Bioseed. Yes, they contain the keratocytes, and Dermograft, Transite, and Hyelograft. So these are the commercial products which along with the skin scaffold I shown you, 3D fibroblast. They are available commercially for the treatment of the affected region. The burns are the regeneration of epidermis. Okay, again this is the enlarged view of the skin, where you can see the epidermis region, and this is the basal layer, and the dermis region, where you can see the collagenase, the fibroblast cells and collagen. Okay, and with the where here that is trypsin cleavage and basal layer, this is the proteolytic layer, and this extracellular matrix regeneration. Only the affected, usually if it is the deep burns, this region will be affected. There you need the treatment of these fibroblast and keratinocytes. Okay. And fetal fibroblasts, they are also applied for a particular interest because they can significantly improve the skin repair due to the high expansion of ability and low immunogenicity and the intense secretion of bioactive substance such as basic fibroblast growth factor and vascular endothelial growth factor and keratinocyte growth factor. However, the ethical issues are there which the use of these fetal fibroblast cells. And this is the picture of the human dermal cells in the electron micrograph study. The next approach of stem cell, it is use of epidermal stem cells. Epidermal stem cells, that is the stem cells of epidermal layer. So epidermal stem cells are a particular interest of skin tissue regeneration as they have favorable features such as high proliferation rate and easy access and keep their protein, that is potency and differentiation for the longer periods. That is, they continuously divide because they have the potency of proliferation. So they are one of the skin stem cell types, either heterogeneous or autogenous origin. These epidermal stem cells are mostly connected to the process of skin regeneration and they are rare, infrequently divide and generate a short-lived and rapidly dividing cells. So which are involved in the regeneration process, the main population responsible for the skin repair. It is located in the basal layer of epidermis. However, they are also revealed in the base sebaceous glands and the bulge region of hair follicle. That means this is the upper layer of the skin, that is epidermal. So epidermal layer where you have a epidermal stem cells in the beneath of this enlarged view of epidermal layer, and these stem cells, the basal layer, they have the potency to form a differentiated progeny of epidermal stem cells where you can use this epidermal stem cells to grow in vitro and you can use them for the treatment of the skin regeneration. These epidermal stem cells, they are used in the treatment of ocular burns, that is in the burn of the eye region, maybe because of the crackers or any other cause which damage this ocular region. These epidermal stem cells can be easily derived from the patient's skin and transplanted to the same patient. And these cells are not restricted by ethical issues, and the grafts containing autologous holoclones. And these epidermal stem cells have proven an effective in treating the vast skin defect, that is epidermolysis and skin and ocular burns, etc. This is one picture I have shown you how they are used in the treatment of the eyes. Mesenchymal stem cells, that is the next approach where these stem cells are. So mesenchymal stem cells, they have the wider application in the treatment of many diseases. Okay, these mesenchymal stem cells derived from the other tissue like adipose tissue, umbilical cord, they are derived from the bone marrow. They require a special attention and they are grown in vitro, and because of their plasticity and they can differentiate it into tissues of mesodermal, ectodermal, endodermal origin, and these mesenchymal stem cells participate in skin development. It has been reported that the bone marrow, that the mesenchymal stem cells, and they can generate not only the hemopoietic and mesenchymal cells but also fibroblast-like cells that are located in the dermis and actively proliferate in skin during the regeneration process. Again, this is a mesenchymal stem cells in the in vitro condition where they can form the skin cells which is applied for regeneration of the epidermis. The next approach is application of induced pluripotent stem cells. So induced pluripotent stem cells, they are nothing but adult stem cells isolated from the patient itself, and they are grown in vitro and they are induced to form epithelial cells. The great interest in the tissue regeneration belongs to the induced pluripotent stem cells. Using somatic cell from the patient itself and reprogramming like a magic wand, we can develop a patient-specific cells with a tailored phenotype and apply them in the clinics. The most commonly used cells of cell programming are dermal fibroblast, melanocyte, keratinocyte, since they can be easily assessed and isolated from the patient itself by biopsies, and the researchers have shown that both murine and human induced pluripotent stem cells can be differentiated into dermal fibroblasts, keratinocytes and melanocytes. So it is a opening door for the treatment and the induced pluripotent stems technology into dermatology application. And the interesting fact is that fibroblast achieved via this technique may show increased properties compared to those of the parental fibroblast. Okay, this is also one of the application of stem cell therapy in the regeneration of epidermis. And the next is, the fifth one is application of growth factor or the growth factor therapy. Here, the growth factor therapy is in administered pro-epidermal growth factors to promote wound healing, and also we have observed in the regeneration of hair. These growth factors are bioactive molecules secreted by the body whose function is to stimulate the growth and propagation of cells involved in skin in wound healing and also in inflammation. See, this I have shown you in the growth factor concentrated therapy in inducing the hair follicles, and the use of the extra growth factor increases the number of wound healing cells and causing the faster wound healing. So they include the compounds influencing the epidermal tissue growth factor, hepatocyte growth factor, anti-scarring growth factor, transforming growth factor, pro-angiogenesis, that is nothing but vascular endothelial growth factor, platelet derived growth factor, and stromal growth cell, then fibroblast growth factor. And strategies to control these growth factors release may prompt a skin tissue regeneration. This is also injection of a growth factor to regenerate epidermis. This is the therapy which is available for inducing the growth of hair. The next is the scaffold for skin wound healing. Scaffold, the biomaterials are a crucial part of different dressings and tissue engineered constructs used in the burn therapy. The main idea of using them is to imitate the skin extracellular matrix and formed by the collagen, elastin, proteoglycans, nidogen, laminin, and persilican. And its properties, the skin strength is enabled by the collagen, elastin ensure its elasticity and flexibility, and proteoglycans provide a hydration and viscosity. So these are all the scaffolds which are used in the that is skin treatment. The skin grafts and substitutes, biomaterial of various origins, natural, synthetic and semi-synthetic, are used, and their choice in scaffold fabrication is essential because this can influence the in situ regeneration with their features, regulating the cell behavior and enabling a new tissue formation. The main requirements are biodegradability, temporary mechanical support, and permeability. These are the four features I have shown you about the scaffolds of skin which are used in the treatment. Okay, maybe the last one in the treatment of or in the regeneration of epidermis, it is multitasking. It is nothing but 3D bioprinting. It is a multitasking technique platform that enables in situ cell deposition according to the wound pattern. So in 3D bioprinting, the cells are distributed within the gels, and these mixtures are used as a bioinks, and commonly the procedure involving printing hydrogel layers which are further cross-linked via that is enzymes, ions, etc. to give a better support for cells. In situ 3D bioprinting was first proposed by Campbell and Weiss for an inkjet bioprinter, and is particularly interesting as a delivery approach since it can ensure that full thickness tissue restoration followed by vasculogenesis, means the formation of new blood vessels due to progenitor cell migration and angiogenesis. So the 3D bioprinting is also a hope for the treatment of the skin disorder, skin burns. Okay. And the next it is the finally conclusion regarding the application of stem cells in the treatment of regeneration of epidermis. Nowadays, a design of skin substitute. There are three main approaches: cell-based, biomaterial-based, and delivery-based. In first, the scientists try to fabricate the skin equivalents using not only by fibroblast and keratocytes but also melanocytes and endothelial cells in order to imitate native tissue morphology. So in many studies, stem cells derived from various sources are used for their properties such as hypoimmunogenicity and high differentiation potential. The use of autologous allogenic cells still remains questionable, although there are studies showing that only autologous cells can promote rapid wound healing, and a bank of allogenic cells can provide a possibility to treat quickly the patient suffering extensive and deep second degree burns. In this case, the most preferable cells are stem cells. So again here I put a picture of the skin cells with the different regions like stratum, granular layer, spinous layer, basal layer, and dermis. So when you are exposed, so this is the region where it is suddenly affected. But in case of burns and all, so depending upon the severity, the deep burns can lead to the cause. It can be affect the region of dermis also. So that is, in conclusion, stem cells are the promising hope for the treatment of the skin disorders, and also related to the skin disorders, and also the regeneration of epidermis. Okay, thank you for watching. Keep watching.